Alright, so we're live, but I figure we'll start off with some banter while we wait for people to kind of catch in. Have you seen any good movies lately, Toaster?
Not recently. Ironically enough, I am interested in the Minecraft movie, but every friend is like, fuck no, I'm not watching that.
They just shaming you out of your poor freaking Minecraft, dude. That sucks.
Oh, okay. I didn't want to watch it with you anyway.
Dude, I don't blame you. The Minecraft seems legit, though, dude. I'm not going to lie to you. My kids are jazzed for it. I was like, you know what? I'm going to have to go do it. I blame it on them, though. So, like, when I go, it's like, oh, my kids made me do it, you know? And that's the beauty of that. I get, like, ultimate scapegoats. Yeah, dude, for everything. If I don't want to go somewhere or I want to go out to eat because I'm being fat, I just be like, who hasn't eaten yet? And rub my tummy. No. Yeah, it works, dude. It works.
You want to go to McDonald's and then you just like go to your kids and like, hey guys, you want McDonald's?
Yeah, I'm over here like freaking Todd Howard, dude, just making everything work. I'm over here thinking I'm on the Emperor's Children page and I'm on my freaking thumbnail creator. It's amazing. Whatever, we can't all be constant professionals every day of the week.
I'm looking at the. I do want your opinion. I did send you like a little, like an image of like different Vallejo metallics, and then they do have like a gunmetal gray, and then I use a steel. Is that like different from what I use? Would you say? It's literally like.
Will it be different? It'll have like a slight change, like. There's this paint website I go to, and I would say that the difference would probably be like a 96% similarity. So, like, it might be a bit lighter. But also, the big thing with metallics that I notice, and maybe I'm wrong, but like the mica flakes. If it's more like metallic mica flakes in there, it'll hit the color different. That's just something I've noticed, you know.
I'll make a test model, and then... The reason why I'm asking is Vallejo does have a gun, like a gunmetal gray, you know?
Yeah.
So,
well, Vallejo's always really fantastic, but one thing I can tell you that Vallejo does differently from Citadel is Citadel paints typically have a little bit more mica. But I think if you use the primer, you should be good. You know?
Yeah, because I'm trying to like make a streamline instead of fucking you know, airbrush primer, Vallejo primer. That fucking sucks.
Oh, I'm with you. I think the hardest thing when you're bits bashing. I'm sorry, I had to move my office around, so I'm putting my phone on the charger here because I'm making these outlets work. The nice thing about streamlining, dude, is like, look at it like, if as long as a unit's done consistently the same way, you're in there. You know what I mean? The whole army, especially in 40K, I feel like can have different little variations in tones because maybe they're not all part of the Trader Legion, you know? Maybe some people joined, some people were, you know, different. I don't know. I think there's a lot of ways you can do it. Like with my World Eaters, some are the red and white, some are red, some are going to be blue and white. I want to get like the variety in there. So when we do Scalathrax and the World Eaters actually win in real life, then it'll be lore accurate.
Yeah.
When I win. Now that you say that, dude, I can smell the flower shop now. That's what the smell is. The whole time I was like, dude, I really was giving credit to GW. I was like, dude, they put perfume in this too. Like they lace the pages with something that smells. No, it's just the flower shop. Makes sense. So
yeah, I have to send you like a link to that store because like it's just a weird. Now that you mention it, it is a weird situation that like it is a florist shop and a USPS post office. Like it's like a small one, and like every day at like 5 p.m. a USPS truck drives to that location, pick up the stuff, and then leaves.
Well, the crazy thing is like the only way I can see it like doing that is if they have pickup orders that go through them, or if you're like in such a rural area, or like you don't have a mainstream post office near you. I don't know what your population's like where you're at, but if it's
it's like a 10 to 15 minute drive depending on traffic,
okay.
or the closest one.
Yeah, that's odd. That's really weird.
And like I'm not in rural Texas, like I'm in like dead center like San Antonio, you know?
Oh, okay. So yeah, you're around civilization.
Yeah.
You know, it's weird. You know, but now that you said it is a flower shop, I smell the flower shop on it. But for real, if GW ever sees this, dude, you should lace your Slaanesh books with perfume.
Yeah.
But yeah, let's dive into it, dude. Let's do the introduction. You know, this is going to be on the YouTubes and also Twitch for anyone that does catch it. It is a weekday, so I don't blame people for not. But YouTube for sure. Now, I want to introduce, everyone knows me as the Tabletop Tyrant. Allow me to introduce you to a homeboy, Toaster Slayer. Toaster, introduce yourself.
So, I am Toaster Slayer, and I've been an EC fan since 2021, 22.
Now, when you talk about being an Emperor's Children fan, did you get into Emperor's Children with 40K, or were you first introduced to them through the Horus Heresy, or how did you get into the Emperor's Children?
Initially, I most Space Marine players start with like a Loyalist chapter or Legion, so I started 40K. Funny enough, COVID happened, and the first lore video I watched was a deep dive of Perturabo by Arch Warhammer.
Okay.
And then
yeah.
I was like, oh, this is cool. I don't like this guy though, but I kind of am interested. And I found out about Rogodor, and I was like, that's pretty rad. And then I discovered Noise Marines. I was like, oh, this is cool. And then kind of invested in the lore a little bit, and I was like, I like these guys named the Emperor's Children. Fulgrim seems not like a good guy though, but I kind of
you got behind his plights.
Yeah, I was kind of like, oh, this is pretty cool. I like the concept of like noble heroes that are kind of fell. Granted, there's no good guys in Warhammer though, but at the same time, it's just like noble warriors and their tragic fall seemed interested, so I kind of went all in. And
So
I can do like, oh, what?
No. So when you say that you weren't like into Fulgrim, or you seemed kind of like a bad guy, was Fulgrim the main attraction, or did you fall for Saul Tarvitz, or which character specifically grabbed you from the Emperor's Children?
Initially, Saul Tarvitz and Rylanor, and some other minor characters like Solomon, Demeter.
Oh, dude, rip that dude. He got destroyed. Yeah.
Yeah, betrayed. Poor man.
Yeah, betrayed after doing some betraying of his own, right?
Indeed.
Yeah, dude. What about Lucius? Did you like Lucius?
I think he's cool in concept though, but I all of the Emperor's Children characters I like are dead or like in like a vault somewhere with what was it, Trazen.
Yeah, I could see that.
I do like Fulgrim, however, I do subscribe to like the fan theory of like the demon took over his body, and like the actual like Fulgrim is the clone Fulgrim, like that personality, you know, and that soul.
So you think, now I'm not super familiar with a whole lot of it, but Fabius Bile, to my knowledge in the lore, he recreated Fulgrim?
Yes, and then that was like his first like really successful clone with no issues. Granted, like he did Clone Wars with some issues, but like that was like the first clone that was like fully successful. And I do like the fan theory of like, hey, the reason why he's so successful is because that's actually Fulgrim's soul. He got booted out of his original body.
Oh, so he was able to capture the soul of Fulgrim and put it into his recreation of Fulgrim. Is that what the fan theory is?
No, Fabius was just fucking around with cloning.
Okay.
And then, like, it so happened that the soul found the body and just blinked.
Okay.
So it's not like by Fabius's design, it just happened that way. And somehow, some way, he has a perfect clone of his partner.
What happened to this guy, to Fulgrim that was cloned?
Oh, Emperor's Children warbands, and what was it? Fabius was like, "Oh, this is pretty cool," and then he got jealous, and then traded him to Drazen for a shit ton of Gene Seed.
that's a little garbage, but it right up Fabius's alley, I guess. So is that some of the stuff that came out with like some of the newer lore coming into like 8th, 9th, and 10th edition?
I believe so, yes.
Okay. When you got into Warhammer, was it through Heresy first or 40K?
40K.
Okay.
And then I started reading, so I read Infinite and Divine, and then I started watching videos about the Horus Heresy. I was like, oh, this is pretty cool. And then the first book wasn't the actual first 3 books. It was Fulgrim. And then I just like started doing like the Primarch novels, like like the Jagatai Khan one, the Fulgrim one. After that, and it just started hopping over.
Okay, so you actually didn't start with Horus Rising? Oh, if only you would have. You would have been a son of Horus. I'm just messing. So, when it comes down to the tabletop, how many games do you think you'd get in of 40K Emperor's Children or Heresy Emperor's Children? If you got more Heresy games in naturally?
It depends on the community. If I reach out on the community that I'm in, I could get a lot of Heresy games in.
Okay.
But if you're talking IRL, 40K,
okay.
There is a 30K community, but I would have to go across town, and that's like a 40 minute drive without any driving.
Oh, dude, preach. If I want to go get like a Heresy game in with like a Heresy community, like a diehard community, I got to go all the way up to like Chicago, which is like an hour away. And that's with no traffic. It's so boo-boo. It makes me sad. Makes me, a little tear goes down my eyes sometimes. But now when you typically play, because I want to ask you a bit about 40K, how they play on the tabletop, and like stuff that you found interesting and came up with. But when you do play, are you more of like a competitive player? Are you narrative? Do you dabble in both? And which one do you prefer?
I dabble in both. I have played with competitive players and narrative players. And
Okay.
I just like the more narrative because it's less like I have to know all my rules and try to win. I know there is a market for that. That's not my market, but I completely respect the grind for whoever wants to do that. But it's just not my cup of tea. Granted, I will do it if I need like a game in like that to satiate that itch.
Okay.
However, I'm kind of like, oh, this is cool. We're doing like a Space Hulk, and then we're fighting. Just enjoy that a little bit more.
That's kind of a little bit more in line, I think, with how I play. I mean, I try to keep it laid back, but I mostly dabble with the heresies, and since it's an hour away to get that in, it's few and far between. With Old World now too, I've been building up Old World communities, so I've been getting a lot of Old World in. But now with 40K 10th, I personally have only played 1 or 2 games of it. What do you think of the addition?
There's pros and cons. What was it? The community I'm in, IRL, doesn't really like 10th because it takes away all like the personality from the factions and the player. And I can see that. And on the other hand, it's a lot easier to pick up because we have the data cards. It's easier to introduce my rookie friends into it. Like, for example, I played my Custodes versus his Dark Angels.
Okay.
It did not go well for him, but he understood the rules, and he was like, okay, I know what to do next. And it was honestly atrocious. I should have not done it to him.
I feel like I remember you telling me about this game.
Yeah, I lost 4 Custodes, and then so what happened was I had 2 of those Custode legacy tanks.
Okay.
And then they went down the board, and they had the Terminators deep strike behind them, and then took out his plasma guys. And then, this is when the Lion had like a bad stat block. I had the tank aim at him and just gun him down with 1 burst with the tank, and I was like, oh, that's
boo-boo, dude. You did that to somebody. That's rough, dude. Now, you said something about flavor, right? Like your community was saying the flavor, but looking through the Emperor's Children book, they have that whole like stim section of potions and stuff. Have you had a chance to look at that?
Yeah, some of them are
No,
like
that's
crazy.
that's more the narrative stuff, right? That's not the competitive section, from my understanding.
Yeah, it's the Crusade stuff.
Yeah.
The, for example, one of them. Let me try to find it. I have the book with me, but I know I have to have like the a rare component, quote unquote rare component. But yes, the Sanctus V, I need the rare component, but it gives you a 2+ invulnerable save, which is nutty.
Are you able to pop it like every round, or is it a one and done, or how does it work?
Let me read it right now. It needs a lot of materials.
Okay.
I don't.
You know, I have the book with me here too. Now, that's my other thing. When you make these elixirs, and it seems like they have battle traits and all different stuff for vehicle models and noise marines and all these upgrades. Now, do you think that they're taking this kind of more into a narrative section with it with the Crusade stuff?
I hope so.
Okay.
Especially, I hope they push a more narrative. Now, we still haven't seen a lot of the factions yet, and I only have the easy codex, so I can only hope at the same time. But
Yeah.
if this is like the new norm, I'm more than happy with it. And then it especially helps if, let's just say, you're a new player and you're just trying out the game. You shouldn't worry about like too much of the flavor. You should try out the game, see if you like it, and then get into the factions that you do enjoy, and then get the codex, see the flavor, and then just go from there. If you want to do the math hammer or like more competitive side, do that. You don't really need the Crusade books, but if you do like playing the game like how we do, then I say go for it.
Now, what do you think about them adding demons? That was a unique thing. I kind of like that. I like that they put the god-specific demons in here. Probably means for Death Guard, Thousand Sons, and World Eaters, we're going to get our demons as well.
I think it was a great addition. I think there's 4 demons, not including the demon prince.
Yeah, the lady with the harp, right? Playing the harp out of the dude's back. That lady's brutal,
She's not
dude.
in that, surprisingly.
She's not. Oh. But is she in 40K, I guess? She is a 40K model. It's not just Sigmar, right?
I think she's just Sigmar.
She might just be Sigmar, because from looking at the Emperor's Children lot here, and I mean, I don't know if they have the demons. Armies of Chaos.
Because they have a keeper of
Chaos demons.
secrets, demonettes, the anteaters.
Do you got the vengeful dude with the chick dancing on his back? Yeah, see? The Infernal and Rapturous. Psy Esquil, the Vengeful Allegiance. So those guys, those two didn't make it, right? Into the book? Oof. Well, some get left behind. Do they have their own... Oh, how about the mask? Is the mask in there?
It is not.
Oh!
There's only, since that is like a named character, it only has one named character, and the mask is not in there. I thought that was kind of a blunder, but I kind of want to see the demon dedicated. Also, I don't know if they are doing.
I have a...
demon thing.
Huh?
I don't know if they are doing a demon dedicated this edition.
I have a low-key hatred for the mask. Back in 7th edition, this person I would play against would always run it, and it was just broken. I for some either he was always rolling really well to make my dudes dance and not do what they were supposed to, but it was hot garbage. So, I do hate that model. But the Demon Prince 2 is in there, which is sweet. And then you got the big Slaanesh Demon over here, the Keeper of Secrets. You got the Fiends, I believe, and then the regular Seekers and stuff too. So it's interesting to see that the demons all got wrapped up in there. Now, as far as army rules go, have you had a chance to kind of dive into them, like the Thrill Seekers and stuff like that?
Yeah. Automatically, I figure more of like a marine list, but But oh yeah, they do have Chaos Spawn, by the way.
Yeah, the Chaos Spawn's like iconic to every, I think, Space Marine faction. I thought the Peerless Bladesman would be like the one. If I was to ever do them, I would do that one or Rapid Evisceration.
I think the Rapid Evisceration is the one I was talking to you out of.
Yeah, do you want to you want to talk about the dirtiness that you were telling me about that?
Yeah. So the what was their names? The battle line unit. Give me 1 second.
I'm gonna showcase some of the stuff you painted if you're okay with that. You mind?
That's completely fine.
So here's some of Toaster's stuff. It should be a slideshow. There it is. And we're just going to have some of that playing in the background there. But yeah, that's really cool. I like the skull chalice you did on that guy. It's freaking sweet. And then the metallic purple is just beautiful.
I like the look of like non-metallic, but I would never do that. Not because I think it's bad. It looks fantastic though, but I'm just not. I don't feel qualified or interested in learning that technique.
You know, I did a commission for Emperor's Children where it was all solid purples, and it's a nice color to get down on. It's just, it hurts the eyes for me after a while painting all the purple. You know?
Yeah. What was it? I think it's like a good backdrop with the metallic because I don't really get bored with it. And then I know, like, oh, I need to paint, like, the cloth here.
Yeah.
The, gloves there, especially with the models showing right there.
Oh, Fulgrim.
Yeah.
You're working currently on the Demon Primarch Fulgrim for Heresy, right?
I took a break from it for the new EC models. What was it? Okay, I pulled up the data cards. First time using the data cards, I kind of like them. The infractors are essentially the melee frontline, where they have like the sword and pistol, kind of like the assault intercessors. And the tormentors are the intercessor ones. The tormentors are kind of nutty. You can have one plasma and one Melta for a squad of 5, and that stacks.
Oh, so it stacks up. So if you have a squad of 10, you can have 2 Meltas and 2 plasmas?
Correct.
Ooh. How many wounds are they packing?
The same 2 wounds, toughness 4, movement 7.
With that
Saving 3+.
Strength 4, toughness 4. Oh, the strength's on the weapon again. That's right. You know, I'm one of those people still catching on.
Yeah. Bolt Pisser is strength 4, Vulcan is strength 4, but Melta strength 9, AP 4, D6 damage.
Okay, fair. That's fair. Yeah, it's pretty good. Now, what do you think about the Lord Cacophonous? Did you get that dude in the box, or does he not come in the box?
No. What's probably coming in the second release is the new Fulgrim, the new Lucius, the Flawless Blades, the dedicated melee units. The Lord Cacophonous is in there. In the box, it's just the battle line unit, where one kit, you get 20 Marines, and you can make them either the Infractors or the Tormentors, 12 Noise Marines, and then the Lord Exultant.
Okay, nice. Out of all those, which one do you think is your favorite?
Building-wise,
Yeah.
the Lord Exultant is pretty fun. I did enjoy that. And then what I'm planning to do is, since there's 20 Marines with 2 options each, I'm gonna 3D print probably like older marks of armor, like Mark 4, Mark 2, and Mark 3.
Yeah.
And then just like use that because the kit already has like Mark 5 and Mark 6, so it wouldn't.
You're gonna mix in all the good marks, right?
Yeah, yeah.
That would be sweet. Now, what do you think? I heard they got some flack looking like they stole some Primaris Marine armor. What do you think about that little jab people take at it? Does it look like that in person, or do you not notice it?
I don't really notice it. Yeah, it does have the same pose though, but building the models, I have built Eradicators, the big Gravis armor,
Yeah.
Primarch Marines. They're they look the same, but they're not really the same. You remember that meme was like same but different. It's like
Yeah.
that.
It's the meme incarnate.
Yeah.
That's sweet, dude. So, in terms of like the new set coming out, have you had a chance to implement any of the models or any games using the new rule set?
No, I'm just theory crafting right now, and
Okay.
I'm incredibly slow making models. And plus, I have work and school, so it's kind of
Yeah, you're busy. Yeah,
yeah.
100%.
I decided to conscript a friend to help me build them, but he's busy also. So
Everyone's yeah, dude.
yeah,
Well, with everything coming on in the world too, we're about to be more busy. Am I right?
yeah.
It is the way of the world right now.
But
So,
yeah,
do you proxy any of your heresy minis in for games? Do you think you will?
that's what I was thinking. Um, uh, Either or really, because if you look at the heresy, if you look at the inductii, the East C ones, is the pistol and Charnable blade, and you can easily pass them off as the tormentors. The bolt pistol and sword combo.
Okay. Sorry, my camera froze from my mouth was obviously in the worst pose possible, right? I'm like Rocky from freaking the movie Rocky. But anyways,
Have-
yeah, I think there's a lot that you can do with this. I think that the Emperor's Children have a lot of really unique ways and flavors that they can play towards, and I think they can play up and down based off what I was reading. So you can have fun with them, or you can take them pretty serious and throw down. And I think that's one of the beautiful things about it. Seeing the demons in here are fantastic. And before I switch from that, what do you think about Lucius the Eternal? What do you think about that new model?
I love that new model, and reading the stat block currently, it's gonna be an auto include for the time being.
Fair.
He just looks fantastic, to be frank.
He looks big. He's on that 50 mil with that sweet whip whipping around. I've never been a Slanesh person, but I can respect the way it looks. And I think that they kind of kept it. For me, I feel like they always do a great job with Slanesh. Age of Sigmar, the Hedonites of Slanesh came out fantastic. These came out good, nice and creepy and odd. I think it's probably one of the reasons why I'm not a big fan of like the aesthetic. But I think that they really did really capture what it is to be part of the Emperor's Children Legion in 40k. And they have the nice little nods I noticed on the Noise Marines to some of their heresy models, which I think are pretty sweet. We got Captain Lucius over here. But I really feel like they knocked it out of the park with Emperor's Children. It's a beautiful army. It's really freaking sweet. The colors, I'm going to be interested to see how you paint them in your color scheme instead of doing the purple or the pink and black. I've never been a big fan of that look.
Yeah, I already have plans. Obviously, I'm gonna do the metallics, and then I don't necessarily like the green initially until if you look at Cult of Pain, he did like a fantastic.
I watched that, dude.
Yeah.
He used that same green. I believe it was the one he used for the Sons of Horus, the Green Sky by AK Interactive, right?
Yes.
Yeah, that I'm about to break it out because I'm gonna do some Chaos Space Marines in the Sons of Horus colors. And yeah, dude, that guy is fantastic. He has some beautiful painting concepts. I love it. So, Toaster,
Yeah.
the biggest question for me, I primarily mess with the old world these days. What's it going to take for you to get down on Slanesh in the old world, man?
Ironically, I'm not a big demon person, so I'm probably not gonna do that. If I had to choose, I'll do like elves or Empire or Lizardmen. Those are my top three in the fantasy. They kind of
Oh,
like draw me more.
fair. So you wouldn't do the Slanesh Warriors of Chaos. You would do Lizardmen. or elves. What about
Yes,
dark elves though? Because they got the lizardmen, they ride the cold ones, and they got that little dark twist to them.
Maybe. Well, if I have to do Dark Elves, I probably have to do Drukhari, to be fair. And I like doing like completely different factions to like change it up, different paint schemes. Like if I do the Warriors of Chaos Lanesh flavor, I'll probably do the same paint job, and that's something I don't necessarily want to do, you know?
Yeah. No, absolutely. I feel like it's with the Hedonites it'd be a little bit difficult because they're very much different aesthetically. But with regular Chaos Warriors, yeah, I could see you just hitting them with silver and doing the purple.
Yeah.
Dude, that chick's vicious. You know, say what you will about Sigmar, but man, they got some good freaking models, man. They have some beautiful minis that come out of there.
I think that, yeah, the whole range is fantastic, and they have a little bit more freedom because it's such a new setting.
Yeah.
And they're still establishing it in a sense. Granted, it's been, what, almost a decade?
Has it?
They got for them?
Oh my gosh, you're right, dude. 2015, right? Age of Sigmar popped out.
I think so.
Gosh, man. Yeah, that was brutal. I can't believe it's been 10 years already. I feel old. It was funny because I'm going through 4th edition 40k. I'm reading through the rules and getting ready to do a big APOC game with my buddy. And it seems like those were just like a little bit not too long ago. And then I was talking to Crypt Shadow and he goes, "Oh yeah, those old rules are 7th edition." And it's so the concept of time is just blown past me at this point.
And what's going to be worse is eventually before the end of the 20s, we're probably going to hit 11th edition once they're done with all the codexes.
You think so? You think they'll hit 11th edition?
Maybe.
See, for me, I was really following the Heresy. You know, I was big on the Heresy for 2.0 for the beginning of it, man. I really was about it. And then now that they're dropping like Heresy, whatever they're doing, whether it's an update, because there's so much rumors on the horizon with Heresy 2.0 coming out. And it's almost kind of killed some of the buzz, you know what I mean? Like, I had to take a break, I think, from 2.0 just because the rules were a little bit odd, I think. Like, the changes to weapon skill, changes to templates and stuff. And I hope that when they do the updated 3.0 rules, they don't change the rules. They just kind of, like, expand upon the FAQs and make it the same rule set so our books are usable.
Yeah, that's what I'm hoping too. I'm hoping it's kind of like growing pains.
Yeah.
And then for a better like system.
But the reason why I asked that is because 40k seems like it's changed almost every edition fairly. And I mean, I guess 8th and 9th you can technically say it wasn't some big changes, but I feel like it almost was. I feel like in 8th edition you had formations, you could rack up ass loads of command points, but it wasn't overly broken. I mean, obviously when the army book started coming out, you got 2 Chaos Space Marine books in one edition. You know, I feel like things were a little bit more crazy. But from 8th to 9th, we saw like a huge shift from formations to stratagems being big. And now from 9th to 10th, it seems like they've completely just revamped the game to where weapon strength is on the profiles, free upgrades, very much objective based. Now I wonder if they do change up the edition again, when it's 11th edition, I wonder how they're going to handle it. And it's honestly just hard to believe that they are doing such like rapid edition changes. So I wonder if we really are going to get another like edition when we're supposed to, which is what, next year they're supposed to do another one, Toaster? Or the year after.
Maybe the year after. It just depends on if they get through all the factions codexes they have left, because I think they're halfway through, because they have Eldar, Chaos. That was this summer, like the broad strokes of Chaos. And then now we're doing like the specific legions.
Do you want to know the tall tale sign when an edition's coming, dude? It's the freaking World Eaters. In 7th edition, we got Traitors Hate. They drop Karn. And then next thing you know, within a few months, bam, we got hit with the 8th edition. And now that they're showcasing, and then they did World Eaters again for 9th edition, then bam, we get 10th, right? Now they're showcasing Angron and and Lotara Sarin, which I don't know why we're getting her, but they're showcasing Angron. It's like, you know what? It's just coming on the doom of this edition, man. We're going to be rolling into a new one, you know? So I think whenever the World Eaters drop, it's like unnumbered. It's on borrowed time. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
They're the harbingers of when an edition changes or not.
Indeed. Yeah. I can see that. What was it? I think the Latara model is really cool, but I think that should have been like a Black Library release, not like a
Yeah.
stay.
Like, I see a lot of people like, oh, you don't understand. Like, because I'm adamantly against Lotara Sarin. I know some people dig her. And I mean, like, she's cool and all. But, like, what does she offer? She stays on the ship. I guess if you're going to do, like, boarding actions and stuff like that. Or, you know, Zone Mortalis maybe. But I feel like, and a lot of people are like, well, there's obviously ways to use her in dioramas. But doing dioramas myself, I find I like creating my own characters and sculpting and green stuffing, and maybe some people don't, but I feel like, yeah, it should have been a Black Library, not like a model. It should never have been like the main focus. I feel like we got a Lotara Sarin before we even got a Praetor, or a Centurion in that matter. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, like, all we're getting is like new Angron, who looks like he fell out of Dark Souls, the Ring City DLC. And then we got Lotara Sarin, and hopefully they give us something like nifty with him, but I don't know. It's unique. It's a unique can of worms. I would have liked the generic Praetor, Centurion, or something. You know, a Warmonger console I think would look good for the World Eaters, you know. But I don't know. I think Lotara Sarin was kind of like, why? Why are we doing this to ourselves here? You know?
Yeah. Indeed.
But that's just my 2 cents with it. Everyone has what they like about it different. I think as a World Eaters player, I've just been wanting a Centurion to come out of it for the Heresy. And it's like the same thing that we got with the World Eaters for 40k. I think we got like another thing that was just kind of odd. Like, why are we getting the Bloodthirster twin soul thing? You know what I mean? Where is it?
Yeah.
Where's my disappointment set? Here it is.
Listen to this.
Oh, yeah, look at that, dude. Some new Blood Knights. That's kind of cool.
Oh.
I know this doesn't have anything to do with Emperor's Children, but I think they're going on pre-order. That zombie dragon's looking dope. I'm not going to lie.
I've been like eyeing AOS. There's no like factions. Like, okay, that's a lot. I did get a lot of Lumineth. I feel like that would be a fun faction. And then, but like I've been eyeing the Undead the past couple days or months, and they've been looking fantastic, honestly.
Yeah, they're beautiful minis. I have them for my old world vampire counts, dude. They're gorgeous. I'm painting them up. They're really fun. You know, they're not as complicated either. Like, there is like, it seems like there's a lot of detail, but they fly by. You know what I mean? The only thing I dislike about them is like, and this is just strictly for like old world, is like the amount of wave that this stuff is, because it makes it a pain in the ass to rank and file the Skeleton Warriors, because their cloaks are waving all over the freaking wind. But it's really not that. It takes an extra 2 seconds, but I'm really looking forward to the terrain that they're doing too.
Yeah.
And the spells, that's freaking sweet. Look at that, dude. Kind of cool.
Yeah. I'm pulling it. I pulled it up. It looks fantastic. To be frank.
Yeah, man. They really got a lot of cool stuff going, but I keep getting sidetracked. I see the pictures. I'm like, ooh, a picture. Chaos Ascended. This thing. Absolutely unnecessary.
I think it's weird that they have like a Bloodthirster. Like, I get martial strength though, but shouldn't it be your own strength rather than like a demon inside of you?
Well, I think even in the lore it goes back to Karn, kind of, once he pledged himself to Khorne, he got like this demonically imbued strength and borrowed from Khorne, and it was like a little bit of a note when he went up against Sigismund, and Sigismund just utterly smacked him down. But I think the thing where I dislike it is it just kind of looks like it was a little bit like rushed. Only because like what did they really do to the regular 8-bound? They piled on more skulls, made them bigger, took the Jackal blood injectors, and then took a Chaos Space Marine possessed arm, flipped it in CAD, and threw it on them. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because that exact arm is here.
The chainsaw arm.
Yeah, it's on the possessed kit. And I'll find it real fast. I dislike the fact that it just seems like they reused. See that right there? They just flopped it in CAD and then threw it on them. And I feel like that's just like my only gripes about it is it's like, you could have put a little bit more time into it, really sold it, And I think if they're not going to go ahead and give us the range, I do think they should give us access to things like Chaos Bikes, Raptors, Obliterators. I think would be nice to have our hands on just to like increase the range a bit. I don't think they need to necessarily give us a bunch of new stuff. Just give us access to some of the stuff that the Chaos Space Marines have, If they're going to come out with Red Butchers, show some converted Terminators and call them Red Butchers and give them a profile, Instead of the Blood Slaughter, since those gone, give us access to the Venom Crawler. You know what I mean? Like, it would be cool to see us get some other stuff out of the generic Chaos Space Marines and also kind of keep them from making a bunch of different assets that aren't going to sell maybe as much as some of this stuff would. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I completely understand.
I feel like when they're over there making all this stuff for the different factions, it's taking up time, space, resources from them.
That's what they did for the Emperor's Children. Like, it's not like the Phoenix Terminator. It's just a box under Chaos Terminators.
Yeah. Yeah, and hopefully we get that. Hopefully we get access to something like... I think, from one thing, I'm not big on the tournament scene, but it seems like World Eater players like are really lacking like shooting, and they talk about having like some sort of medical unit. I don't think we need the Medicaid unit. I just think if we got access to Obliterators, maybe stuff along that line, maybe it would help us out a bit. Because Obliterators can still fight in combat, It's pretty deadly to put the Mark of Corn on them back in the old days. But... yeah, I think that if they wanted to save up space and not have to come out and create a bunch of stuff, I think that we should get more access to stuff like this. Possessed. We have the 8-bound, I guess. But see, it's a double whammy. Instead of creating 8-bound, they could have just given us Khorne Possessed and we would have got 5 in a box and it wouldn't be taking up 2 slots. I feel like they do a lot of double touching. Maybe give us Havocs. In the lore, they had Khorne's Teeth. It was a Khorne unit that was completely like heavy bolters or maybe auto cannons, and they were Mark of Khorne. And, there's lore reasons to give some of this stuff. Raptors, I don't see why not. You know what I mean? Especially the Bikers. Huge nod. Chaos Book 3.5. Berserker Bikers would be nice to have. Throw that out there.
The little, you remember the old, I forgot what book it was called though, but like the old Horus Heresy trading card game where they had like the World Eaters, jet bikes. Those look fantastic.
The ones with the mouths on them, right?
Yeah.
I have a 3D printed file for those for Heresy.
Nice.
Yeah, I use those bikes.
Oh, I think I did see that.
Yeah, if you're in my folder, they're in there.
Oh, how did you like the World Eater stuff?
Oh, dude, chef's freaking kiss. I'm already gonna use them. I'm using those Mark IV for my destroyers in Heresy. Yeah, dude. Like for me, when you look at the Horus Heresy destroyers, like everything's like for some reason completely sold out. When it comes to like Legion stuff, as I go to the fucking page and nothing's sold out, it makes me look like a liar. But no, a lot of stuff is sold out. But when you go to the destroyers, like for me, if they're already resin, I'm not going to purchase resin destroyers. When I can just print them and wait for them to come out in plastic and do it that way, Yeah. So I got these guys. I got the Red Hand destroyers. Right now my daughter and I are playing through an Armatura campaign with the Cities of Death rules. So these guys are... oh, dude, yeah, she let me down. Yeah, she's an Ultramarine person. It's horrible. Tears rolled down my cheeks. I was sad. But, you can't pick your family. I'm just kidding.
You can't pick the Legion.
Yeah, but you could pick the Legion, yeah. That's it, Missy. You're not getting any more. But no, I ended up working up a trade for some of my old orc stuff. Possible heresy players. Yeah, we do the heresy. I actually, my channel was big in the heresy for a while. And then I went to Old World for a bit. But yeah, me and Toaster, the gentleman joining me, he is a huge heresy person. Here's some of his Emperor's Children, actually. And I was going to ask you, Toaster, you talked about you got a couple sets and you were going to get rid of some of the books, right? You going to list them on eBay or anything?
Get rid of the book?
Well, you were gonna get rid of some stuff. I forgot what you were saying.
Oh, I was just like cleaning up because I have like a Primaris Space Marine army that's unbuilt and a Necron army, and I need to either build all my EC
Fair.
or sell some of them.
Well, if you
Just get rid of them.
if you do, I'll throw a link. If you're gonna do it on eBay, I can throw it in the description of the video so people can come look at your stuff too. If that works, if that's something you want to do. Yeah, Toaster has a beautiful metallic purple. It's gorgeous, and yeah, it's nice to have someone talking heresy. I'm trying not to come off like a shill because I've been talking about Old World since before it came out. I mean, I've been talking about Old World for 3 years now. But with heresy up on the horizon, I'm trying not to come off like I'm just jumping from system to system. So I'm slowly nudging my way back into it. But yeah, man, is there anything that you wanted to add about the Emperor's Children? You want to talk about them in heresy? Maybe their bogus ass Rite of War that's fucking awesome? Or their reaction?
I don't think the reaction's too bad though, but
It's nice though, it's thematic. It's a thematic reaction, you know?
the only Rite of War that would be useful is Third Company Elite, to be frank.
You don't run the Mara Sukara?
No.
No. I don't blame you. Yeah, no, we're both really big in heresy. And heresy was something I've done for years. I've done it since probably 2015. I started off with Death Guard and then moved to Sons of Horus, and now I'm on World Eaters, knocking out an Armatura campaign. But if you want to catch that, we're going to be streaming some of that here eventually.
I do remember one of the Rites of War that we were both making fun of. Like, I think like the new, was it Beta Gammon?
Was it that or the Fulgrim one?
Yeah, the Fulgrim one.
Yeah.
Where it's like the new Rite of War for EC is like, okay, you can use that, but you have to have the new Fulgrim, the new Lucius. You have to have like multiple characters. You have to drop a few $100s.
Yeah, dude.
And then you can use it.
It was the shill formation, and you didn't get the benefit because I think Fulgrim had the deep strike or something, right? And you only got the benefit while Fulgrim was on the field. The Academy Guard, I believe they would technically be considered militia, but they took on, and correct me if I'm wrong, I believe they weren't like an unorganized rabble very much. They specified more in like void warfare and ship to ship. And because Armature was like a military world, I would say they were like probably like a very, very intense regiment of regular militarum. And I say were because they lost. High five to the traitors. I'm just kidding. I'm just fucking around. But yeah. So, but it's so crazy to see like the difference in how they are. That formation was hilarious. I like how too. That's the only update we've gotten. The volumes. It was volume 1 and that's it. Now it's like a new edition's on the horizon.
Yeah. And then we got like Custodes and Mechanicum and Demons like way after the release, and they're like bad, to say the least. And the auxiliary.
I'm telling you, dude. I'll have to pull that up in 2 seconds on the Discord. I'm telling you, when I got down on the freaking Mechanicum book, I was so butthurt to learn that it was just like Imperial Fists on Mars. I was like, come on, man. Like, I'm a pretty big Dark Mechanicum dude. And and it was rough.
And what you're telling me is, during the Heresy, a decade-long conflict across the galaxy, you you chose one planet. Like, granted, Mars is pretty important, but all the lore is based around one planet and like millions of planets that are being attacked simultaneously in a 10-year span.
Oh, I know, dude. It was a little baffling personally. Like, I don't loathe it, but it's just one of those decisions where it's like, why? Why are we here? You know? I feel like they could have focused so much more. Here's the Ultramarines that Hex Tread's working on. They look pretty savage. I like them. Are they? They are Ultramarines, right? I'm not assuming that. Yes. Oh no, those are World Eaters. I don't know why I got that backwards. I did mine the red and white, so when I saw your Karn over here, I was like, ooh, there it is. Jeez. Oh yeah.
Comment below that is, what was it? Getting new Karn for my World Eaters. If you only read.
If only I could read. The books, they don't do me good, man.
Oh, no, it's World Eaters and Word Bearers.
Let me see. Yeah, they had the Word Bearers, and he's probably doing Armatura if I'm guessing correctly. Here, let me pull up mine. It is odd, so like, let me show off my stuff real quick. I'll be that guy.
He's probably like, these morons thought it was Ultramarine.
He's like, he's a shill.
He's a shill.
This guy doesn't know what he's talking about.
He's like, I have this fantastic looking army, and they don't.
No, he's all excited to like talk about heresy, and I'm over here fucking it all up. So I got the Brass Scorpion I started doing. Oh, here's my Spartan. I'm doing a force for Armatura and Calth. Thank you. Yeah, I really like this. When it came out good, I started doing the Weathering Powder. I found my old Imperial Armor book, and I was like, dude, bring it out. Oh, this is a dude that got stolen valor. He was in the Marine Corps, and he was wearing like purple hearts and shit, talking about all his service. It was intense. I immediately thought war hero.
I heard, what was it?
Here's my Contemptor.
The U.S. Government hasn't made a new purple heart medal because they're still giving out the supply of purple hearts they planned whenever they were still planning to invade Japan in World War II. They have like this massive supply of purple hearts ready to go.
I don't know if that's the case. They're expensive. When I got mine, I had to pay for that shit. That shit was fucking pricey.
Wow.
Because they give you like a cheap, crappy one, and you have to buy like the iodized, fucking expensive one. So it actually costs you to get hurt. You know? Weathering powder. Yeah, if you mix some weathering powder and some mineral spirits, you can get that dusty effect that I got. I'll have to cover it. I'll make a video on it if you want to know. But yeah, that's one of the things. I feel like when I got hurt, I had to fucking like pay for that shit. It's like an $80 medal, dude. And on that old Lance Corporal pay, you ain't paying for that very well. You know?
That's atrocious.
Now, because of the 54% on China tariff, we're probably going to have to pay more, because I guarantee you they're made in China. Don't get hurt now, boys. The Chinese tax going to hit those metals hard. I'm just messing around.
What was I thinking of? Oh, yeah.
The old Death Guard, dude. I miss this Legion. They were fucking awesome.
You know, if I did do an Armature campaign, I would do either Word Bearers or Ultramarines, because honestly the marker count is it the marker? No, it's no fear.
Yeah, no fear is the Calth. Betrayer is where they cover Armatura.
Yeah, those two books are fantastic.
Oh, yeah. Betrayer was great. It was a much needed, break from, I think, everything else. You got some of those books that were kind of crappy. No Fear is the main Calth book. Mark of Calth, yep. And Later Battles of Calth, yep. Yeah, No Fear was great. I like how they chronicalized it like an actual, report. I thought that was freaking sweet.
And then towards the end, 12 years after the mark, it was like, yeah, we're burning Good though, yeah. It's,
Dude, Erebus, everyone can talk crap on my boy Erebus, dude, but he's a G. You know, you got to give it to him. He's just constantly meddling and getting fucked up for it. Like, yeah, Karn whooped his ass, and then shortly after, Horus rips his face off for the frickin' Blood Angels debacle. Like, if you timeline Erebus, it's him meddling and getting just his ass beat to pieces, dude. Fantastic. Argos was cool. I liked him.
no, yeah, he was a good character.
I think Saul Tarvitson. I'll be honest, as a Death Guard player, I dislike Nathaniel Garro. I'm all about my Ignatius Grugor. You gotta be a traitor, you gotta be a traitor, dude. You know?
Yeah, all in or all out.
Yeah,
I
man.
mean, some of my favorite heresy books are the White Scars books. So, also the ST
Lucius.
sent you
Yeah.
last night. He made like fan freaking tastic like White Scars stuff for Mark 6, 3, and 2.
If you go through that folder I gave you, there should be like beautiful true scale Mark II White Scars in there. Yeah, the White Scars are gorgeous. If I was ever going to do those, I would do a little bit of Death Guard along with them. Maybe Morty and the Khan. Go at it. You know, I talk a lot about Primarchs, but I'm not a big Primarch person, personally.
They have like their pros and cons.
I just like my games, like, I like to make my own Praetor and, like, sculpt it and do, like, crazy stuff with it, you know, and, like, kind of, like, put my flavor to the Legion. And I feel like Primarchs are really fun. Like, in a big apocalypse, like, 10,000 point game, I'll throw them out, or 5,000 point game. But, like, for regular games, I like having, like, my own, like, not, like, obviously it's not me, but, like, my own piece that's, like, guiding my army that I put all this time into. Neither, yeah. Saul and Lucius in the third book, neither. Yeah, man, that's the crazy thing. So I don't know. I always like customizing my own Praetor. You did a beautiful job on your Praetor with the double blades.
Thank you. I did like the EC Praetor that came out like towards the 1 year.
The dude with the spear, right?
Yeah, and then if you can recall, or actually, if you see the image, I did like a golden faceplate, kind of like that one Blood Angels character in 40k, Tycho, I think.
Tycho.
Yeah.
I like the Skull Chalice, dude. That was a good call.
The only thing I don't like about that model is the eye. I made the pupil too freaking big.
It happens, dude. I hate doing eyes, especially after I spent all the time on the freaking model to go back and deal with it. Sucks. Didn't you make your own sun killers?
I did. Oh, I didn't send that picture. I did. Well, those are the sun killers and magnetized. I 3D printed the arms to where they're holding the las cannons in one hand.
Yeah.
The other one is like pointing, holding the gun. One with sword, and then etc. etc. But that Praetor I loved.
Yeah, he's cool. I like him with the double blades. He's like dueling. That one's nice. I like that you gave him a regular face and not old speaker mouth. The one with the spear.
Yeah. I felt that one is a little too much, and I was thinking if I ever do Loyalist, it would be good if I have a dedicated Loyalist. Praetor, if I go that route.
Yeah, the speaker box really does it in. I don't dig that.
Yeah.
But yeah, man. Well,
The helmet's good.
The helmet's sweet. Yeah, I love it. Honestly, they did a sweet job. My favorite Emperor's Children models will always reign the not the Palatine Blades. The Phoenix Guard Terminators are probably some of my favorite Terminators in the entire range.
They look fantastic.
They aged well, dude. Are they a little small? Yeah, they're a little small, but I think they're some of the most beautiful ones they've done. The trim is perfect. The details on it are great. I have to say, yeah, they did such a beautiful job on the Phoenix. I mean, definitely, like, when you look at, like, how they did Homeboy up here, Honestly, needs to sort out in airbrush. Dry brushing, everything sucks. Need to sort out in airbrush out. Dry brushing, everything sucks. Yeah, dude, dry brushing would blow. Airbrushing's fun. It's a little bit of a pain in the butt, I think, at first, like, getting the hang of it. It's been a while, but I remember when I first got into it, it just whooped my ass. It was not fun.
I would recommend, like, Amazon. You can get like a $15 brush and then like a $40 pack brush, different needles for different sizing, and the air compressor. There are handheld airbrushes with the battery though, but the battery gets in the way, and I wouldn't recommend those though. But it's just, there are cheap ones. Try it out. Just mess with it. Fail with that one before you buy like the $200 one. You know.
Toaster, where are the Phoenix Terminators at, dude? Are they gone?
No, they shouldn't be. They're probably like sold out and on the bottom.
I just went through the whole thing.
Are they gone?
Dude, I'm over here kissing their ass. I got the STL files, dude. We're good.
I appreciate it.
They're the true scale ones, too. Oh, here they are. Oh, thank goodness.
Yeah.
Whew, almost cried. Anyways, yeah. Gorgeous looking. Look at the beauty of that. These were hand sculpted, too. You can tell just the amount of detail that went into it. The faces on the freaking shin, the wing. Ah.
That is something I adore.
I know. It's the one reason why I would play Emperor's Children, is just to get these Terminators.
It's sad because they're not really that good. Like, I have them, but
Oh.
it's just like I haven't been motivated.
Yeah, they're a 2-pack of ass on the tabletop. That's a fact. But they look cool as shit, though.
Oh, these are the Emperor's Children Phoenix Terminators, to answer your question.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, Emperor's Children. Yep. I feel like the World Eaters got shafted, dude.
Yeah.
They were one of the first ones done, and I stayed away from them for a while. I always liked the Army, but everyone in my friend group played them, or someone. There was always someone playing them. And now that, like, it's my turn up on the saddle with these guys, I'm like, ugh. Fucking derp to derp. Did you go through the files I sent you?
Me?
Yeah.
I picked and choose. I haven't gone through and checked every single one.
Oh.
Because you gave me so many.
You should look at the Red Butchers in there, dude. They are beautiful.
Make beautiful.
Yeah, fucking gorgeous. Definitely not old derp head over here. Yeah. You tell these dudes that are locked in their armor, this guy looks like he has to take a dump.
Oh, before I forget, you remember the World Eaters I sent you last night?
Yeah.
The same artist made a Mark III kit that has different versions of Mark III, and they did the old back of the legs you like
Yes.
with the newer armor.
Yes, that's how I feel. I hate that they got rid of the plating on the Mark IV, dude. Or the Mark III.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, don't get me wrong, they're alright. I'm not bitching here, but
It's a great kit, but it had to sacrifice like a really good kit, so it's kind of like a catch-22.
yeah, I just feel like, you know, the Cataphracti still have the plating and now those don't. You know, it's just kind of like, why? Why go on? You know what I mean? It's just sad. The plating was where it was at, you know, and then you got the horse, you got the 40K Death Guard, they got the plating behind their legs, so it's just kind of like, why didn't we get the plating on that? And then you look at what they're going to do with the Mark II. I'm pretty sure we got a good look at it from, where's that new character? Right there.
Yeah.
This is probably going to be what our Mark II looks like if we ever get Mark II.
What about, is there a 360 view?
Yeah, there's a rumor that the new starter set's going to have Mark II or Mark IV.
I hope Mark IV, to be fair.
Yeah, if this is going to be the Mark II, I hope Mark IV as well. You know, not like there's anything wrong with it. It just gets rid of like the whole concept, like lore-wise, of like the plating and how the armor was done. I don't know. It's just very odd. I heard there was like sculpting issues that came when they did the plating like that, I guess. Hibu Khan. And then the Mark IV, I think we can get a good look at that from one of the thousands of Sons of Horus characters we've received. Now, as a Sons of Horus player, I will not complain.
Yeah, it's the new standard bearer. No, it's the trader standard
It's
bearer. It
Tybalt
is.
Mar.
Oh, that one too. Yeah.
Wait, there's a new standard bearer?
Newer. Just look up console, and then it's a trader console, but it's very clearly like he's holding a Sons of Horus one.
Dude, honestly, like when you pull up Sons of Horus, you're just like bombarded by all the cool shit they got, and it's just way too much. I played Death Guard for like all of first edition, and getting no love. I felt like here it is. Tybalt Mar came up first, and then we'll see where's this new console. I guess I could type it up.
He's newer, so he could be like unavailable. Let me look up the image.
Here, Trader console.
Yeah, just look at
Over. Oh, here you go. Herald.
Yeah, Harold. Yeah.
Oh fudge! I hit the Overseer. That would have been a really cool word bearers thing right
Oh,
there.
yeah. That would have been
Oof. Oh, he got a lot of like a bolted plate on. So they can do that? I guess he's resin, right?
Yeah.
I don't think we'll see any of these plating on the new Mark IV.
But that would be a cool addition if you get like a what's that material called? Like a white
Plastic card?
Let me grab.
Plastic card, yeah. Polystyrene.
Yeah, polystyrene.
Yep.
That would be cool if like you do like. Well, that would be really good for like Iron Warriors or like.
Well, wait, is this a Sons of Horus model or a everyone model?
It's a everyone.
Why does
but
it have
it's
the
like
Eye of Horus?
Idillion.
Huh?
I'm just saying it's
Oh.
a trader one.
Dillion.
It is for.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah, it kind of like it says for all traders though, but it's very clearly Sons of Horus.
Yeah, I mean, the Eye is Sons of Horus. What you up to? You guys caught us right at the end, man. We were supposed to be talking about we talked about Emperor's Children for quite a while, actually. See, this looks like a loyalist. Like, you could get away with this being a loyalist. He has the eye because that was universally used as a symbol for traders. I would have preferred something along the line of like, where is it? Oh my goodness. Just bombarded by ass. See, what about this? I feel like... Anyways, while we're waiting for that to load, I think this will be what the new Mark IV looks like. We got the little plating here, maybe some trim up there to give trim. I don't know why. It feels like trim's something they give everything these days. There we go. That could have been a banner for traders.
Yeah.
The snake and the eagle. I think that's cool. I would get that console and put this banner on it. Because the Eye of Terra thing, if they didn't do 10,000 releases of Sons of Horus, it's now become played out at this point. And I respect it, don't get me wrong. I'm not hating on it. I just, I think that I've seen too many Eyes of Horus in the last 3 years. And that sucks
Really?
because I love Horus.
I'm really hoping for the rumors to be true, where they're gonna do what was it, Salamanders and Iron Warriors? They definitely need the love from that.
The Iron Wars just got all those sweet new Praetors, right?
They only got the Warpsmith, no?
From more than what the World Eaters got.
That's right. Yeah.
I got Lotara Sarin coming in though, so watch out, guys. Use her to command my freaking legionaries. He is dope. I think you can get the other one at Warhammer World, right? You have to like physically go there. Fuck.
Yeah.
How's it going, Dillian? I was busy doing solo repo while I've been up since 4 p.m. April 1st. Holy cow, it's the 3rd. You need to get some memes, Russ. It's quintessential to your health.
8 hours a day.
Yeah, completed level 8. That's how many hours of sleep you gotta get, dude. I'm just an old funny duddy now, dude. Honestly, I'm looking forward to the red hand destroyers.
That, I think it's. Oh.
Huh?
Oh, you're cutting out. My bad.
Oh no, yeah, my bad.
What was it? Have you ever seen that like guy that like he was like a tech billionaire, and then now he's like trying to like figure out how to live forever. And I think it's
Dude,
like
yeah, he's like stealing his son. He's like taking his son's plasma and has like all the crazy
yeah,
doctors on. Dude, that guy is like a legit like vampire.
yeah. And then like he was saying just like if you take one thing from my findings, just get like 8 hours of sleep. I swear, it will improve your quality of life tenfold.
I think, now that he's made it, it makes sense to get 8 hours of sleep, but when you're like making it, 8 hours of sleep is never going to happen.
No, definitely not.
I don't know the last time I've had 8 hours of sleep, period.
Yeah, especially like you do have a lot of roles and responsibilities.
I think
So it's kind of
everyone does till you hit like maybe, I think from what I've seen, it seems like by the time you hit your 50s, if you did everything right, you'll be like lined up to be pretty okay, you know? So right by the time like your body takes a decline and then you can start relaxing. Like the vampire guy, he's like what, 55, right?
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, dude. So after he hit 55, he was able to sleep for 8 hours and chill and relax on his laurels of winning,
And then visit India for a couple of days and realize the air quality was really bad. And he's like, "Yeah, no, I'm not doing this in the movies." Have you seen that? He left like mid podcast.
Dude, I saw that. I have, for some reason, I don't know what it is, but my algorithm throws me like street food. And I seen these dudes just like stepping on it with their bare feet and spitting in it. And it's just like, heebie-jeebies, dude. As a person that loves his food, it breaks my heart to see people spitting in it and stepping on the shit. And then eating it later on.
I can't tell you how many times like street food saved my ass. Like 2 a.m. drunk me walks up to a like a Mexican food truck,
Oh,
like lifesaver, and then they're like, "Hola, mijo," and then I'm like, "Oh, I
I'm,
love this. I
I'm
love
getting,
San Antonio."
I'm getting down on this now.
This
Dude,
is amazing.
when I was in the Marine Corps, there was a place called, what the hell was the name of it? Santana's. And they were open 24/7 because guys were always getting out of the field late. And they had the California, like, carne asada burrito with carne asada fries and, like, freaking horchata all fucking night, dude. We would all pile in one car like a bunch of clowns and go there, dude, and stuff our dirty little faces. It was amazing. Nothing hits right like carne asada fries at 3 in the morning after a whole, like, month of field op crap.
My favorite thing is like I just love cheese and meat, like cheeseburgers and stuff.
Ah,
My
that's good,
favorite
too.
go-to thing is like a steak fajita with like
Oh,
cheese
dude. Yeah,
and
man.
tortilla, and you know they make it right. And then it's the right amount like greasy without being too much greasy and tender.
It's that burrito chapalo life for me, man. It's always, whenever I go to, like, anywhere where it's like Hispanic, I get this burrito the suizo, where they pour a bunch of sauce on it. And it's carne on the inside, and with the side of rice and beans. I'm a man of consistency. I don't go around trying new foods a whole lot when I go out to eat. So for the most part, I order a burrito because I can't make that at home. Well, I can. I just don't.
I remember this one restaurant in the San Antonio area named Fuzzy's. They had this fantastic brisket nachos,
Mm-hmm.
and they threw like obviously brisket, really good brisket, obviously tortilla chips, and then they throw like 5 cheeses like
Nice.
feta, mozzarella, queso. We should be talking about Warhammer, not food.
Yeah, I think it's because we're both hungry.
Yeah, that's fair. I'm probably gonna eat something.
I don't blame you, dude. I was gonna say before we close out, they did a good job. If only the Space Wolf heads were upgraded like this. That is like a proper wolf helmet without it being a wolf helmet.
And then I like the new Space Wolves release. They did like,
Dude,
fantastic.
those bits are like universally. I'll go to them real fast. The stuff that they had on, I covered it in my video, universally fantastic. I think that with the Space Wolves, you can do so much with them. Like,
And they're doing like the actual Viking aesthetic, not like wolves with a Viking thing.
Oh yeah, well I mean even look at some of these like where were they? Chaos heads, man. You know, you can get by with some chaos heads. That'd be a cool chaos head on a chaos lord. Do with an eye patch. I mean they go universally. Heresy bits, dude. Like there's a lot of love you can throw towards the Space Wolves and I think it plays on them very well.
I really like the head with like the beard and the bald head.
This
That's like
one?
fantastic. Yeah.
Yeah, that one's sweet as hell. Yeah, like I said, it's really awesome because if you do play Space Wolves in the Heresy, you can buy these bits, and or even you probably play Space Wolves in 40k. Buy the bits and mix them throughout. Now I'll tell you one thing that I thought was utter boo boo. I have not been a fan. And when are we gonna let Armageddon die out, dude? Old Armageddon. It is a war torn crap hole at this point.
I say blow it up.
I say blow it up too.
Kadia should have been the one that's blown up. It should be.
Look at this, dude. I look at this with discontent.
Yeah.
I say gross. What happened to just giving it a good old freaking Redemptor? Why do they gotta put all this crap? The dude standing on top of it, you know?
Yeah. Just like an upgraded dreadnought or something.
I feel like, yeah, dude, Ripley did it best. Let Ripley have it from Aliens. She won. Let it die out.
And the worst part about this is like this looks like the Ripley mech, but if you go to the space, Primer Space Marine,
Oh
it
yeah.
looks like they have a mech from the Matrix.
Yeah, those are ridiculous. I hate that one too. The Invictus Dreadnought or whatever. I don't know why they would do that personally. Yeah,
Like, you can get away with it with the guard though, but like they're Space Marines.
yeah, I mean the guard, yeah, dude, no one cares if they get freaking destroyed in the cage of it, you know? I don't know. Yeah, I mean the terrain looks sweet, but yeah, Armageddon, it's time for it to die out, dude. It's been destroyed and war torn and just brutalized time and time again. But
Just let the orcs take it at this point.
if you want a little plot hole here, if you and I talk crap on it, I continue to talk crap on it. If you like garbage and you like trash writing, go look at Angron the Red Angel, because that
Like,
book,
Grey Knight book.
yeah, the Grey Knight Slanesh book, because the Slanesh demons have more time than Angron in that novel, dude. And yeah, it was horrible. I mean, I got the audiobook version and the paperback because I wanted to review it at the time. And whenever I have something really nasty to say about it, I try not to say it for a while and see if I still feel that way. I had read the book first and then listened to the Audible, and it's the same guy that audios for the Night Lords trilogy, so I was like, oh, this is going to be dope. But it's like a very weird, like, dramatic thing where, like, he's, like, doing the grunting when they're getting angry, and it just sounds like mad amounts of, like, irritable bowel syndrome going on, and obviously, like, nighttime I'm painting, like, I'm afraid, like, my wife gonna come down and think I'm watching shit I'm not supposed to, you know, just all sorts of fucked up, you know, so but anyways, the Grey Knight dude in there, plot, you know, spoilers for the two people that care. He buried his axe in Angron, or Angron buried his axe in him, and he was getting angry, and he was a real angry boy, and then finally at the end, after all the 12 hours of trash, Angron comes out and creams this dude with his axe, and then the Grey Knight becomes part of Angron's axe, or becomes like his soul is part of the axe or some shit. It was a ridiculous, needless book.
Wasn't that the same axe that like he had like a Forge World crew made for him, and then he's like, okay, cool, let me test it out and destroy the Forge World.
I don't know. Because Angron the Red Angel didn't talk about Angron at all, so I don't think so.
Oh, that's correct.
Yeah, no, it was like Slanesh and Grey Knights. Did you listen to the book? I implore everyone, drop what you're doing and watch the book now. Join me in my hatred of it. Misery loves freaking company, dude. So, but yeah, I'm working on a pretty unique video about eBay. I got like a little bit of stuff I got going on for it. It's probably going to drop tomorrow or the day after. What's today? Thursday? Yeah, it's going to drop Friday. So, been enjoying that. But Toaster, I want to say thank you. Is there anything you want to say? Final thoughts on The Emperor's Children as we 20 minutes just spaced out and rambled?
Compared to other releases like Blood Angels and the newer Chaos models, we definitely won, right?
Fair.
We're up there with the new Space Wolves, though. Granted, they could fumble. We could get dogs again, and that would kill the range. But I say we're winning. We're gonna stay winning.
Oh yeah, you're winning when the freaking bar's set to this monstrosity, dude.
Yeah.
That's the face I had when I looked at this crap. That was my face. Oh, what the shit? These were fucking trash, dude. Oh man, I was so upset when I saw these.
I mean, like, they kind of need Automaton because the amount of casualties they took in Space Marine 2.
Dude, I'm telling you, yeah, Space Marine 2. Yeah, it's lore accurate now. They actually, yeah, all the freaking dudes that died in there. That's the thing, man. When I saw that, my daughter and I were scrolling through it together. She's big in Warhammer, I'm proud of that, but we go through the new releases and make fun of them. And when this came up, me and her, she said what I thought. She was, ugh! Yeah. They could have done something like this, man, and just brought it in plastic. It would have been a 2-for-1. Would have been nice. Everyone would be buying them.
They could have miniaturized it if they didn't want to do that scale or size. Like, that's a fantastic model right there.
Oh, it's beautiful.
If I do T-Suns, that's the one I would get. One of the first ones I'll be excited to see.
Dude, the Thousand Suns are so beautiful, like model-wise. Love that. Love their range. But, dude, they just got shit on this edition, man. They are trash on the table. At least in my opinion of steamrolling every Thousand Suns player I've played against. And, like, not even trying to steamroll them, just introducing them to, brutal weapons seems to do the job. I'll tell you, though, before we end, I had this horrible game against a Night Lord player. On a 4-up, you get fucking Night Fight, right? Which is just ass. And then if you play the new Beta Garmin, is it Beta Garmin missions? No. Yeah, Beta Garmin. The turns drop down. So it's no longer 6 turns, right? The guy took the Contemptor bro down Rite of War. All his fucking Contemptors had prey sight. And he just fucking hosed me, dude, and ripped me to pieces. And when I would kill one, he'd blow me up in strength 8, right? So, like, if you have 2 wounds on, like, a Reaver, or you have 2 wounds on a Vet, yeah, you're just instantly dead because it's double your toughness. Oh.
You know what you should do? Just do Shattered Legions. They wouldn't want to play with you.
Do Shattered Legions. I'm telling you, man. They need to address the Contemptor problem in the next edition. And maybe get rid of reactions. That's a personal hot take I'll leave out there. But I do want... Huh?
When I played with my buddy at Dark Angels versus EC, I was like, okay, we're only going to do 1 Dreadnought per 1,000 points. If you do more, we're not playing.
Yeah, I'm telling you, dude. That is the problem, though, is that we have to come up with mitigations for a unit that's just too crazy. Like, if I could see 3 things get fixed, and this is... We'll start wrapping it up, but it would be templates, AP2, and fucking Contemptors. And reactions, 4.
Yeah, just adjust it. I do like reactions, though, but they just need to work on it.
I just hate that we got all these beautiful plastic tanks, and they just get destroyed. Because if you shoot at something, like, yeah, I'm going to react and just blow the shit out of you. It's horrid. I was a dumbass. I took a Predator squadron of 3 Predators trying to be thematic in an Isfahan 5 game. And I shot at a squad of las cannons. And this is like my very first ones, where like the other 2 were not in line of sight, so only one got to shoot. But the way the rule's written is because he over blew up the first one, it spills onto the other ones. And he wiped out an entire fucking formation of Predators with his las cannons. My fault for not thinking about, the reaction behind it, but it makes it a little bit dirty, And I think it was Iron Warriors too, so they have some freaking nonsense up their sleeve.
I can believe that.
Oh,
what was it? I was reading, I can only have 1 Sunkiller squad, period, for army. I can't have 2 for every 1,000 points.
Wait, is it per attachment?
Maybe it says 0 to 1.
per attachment, right?
Maybe.
Because just take 2 attachments.
Okay.
I would. I don't know.
Okay. I would have to look at that again.
How many can you... What's the max amount the squad can have? Like 10 or 20?
I think.
Give them 20.
Yes.
I can only have 1, so I'll take 20. Just, no one will shoot at that squad the entire game.
I remember having that on my right flank because I didn't want to like overwhelm my friend's first Heresy game. But he sent his Terminators there and say, "Oh, I got this." And I had the Palatine Blades with jetpacks and axes.
Yeah.
And they were like slicing and dicing. He's like, "What the hell?"
Yeah. You introduced him to a little bit of reality there with that. Palatine Blades are fucking cool. I love the models.
They're great. And also, like, they're like, what was it? Not easy enough to where you can use them as like Blood Angels or any of like the Artificer.
Yeah. They can go up and down. Like, you can use them. I've seen people use like their helmets for like Praetors and stuff. Like really cool conversion bits too. It's crazy though. Like, I don't know. Heresy had a lot of really cool things happen with it. Like, and it had some boo-boo. You know what I mean? The death of the Contemptor minus the torso. It got like Lieutenant Dan. I don't appreciate that very much. You know, I preferred my Contemptor with arms and legs. But what can one do? You know? I guess we'll have to see. But I want to thank you, Toaster, for coming on today and talking about Emperor's Children. If you feel like you missed out, don't worry. It's on YouTube. You can check our nonsense there. And then if you have anything you want me to post in the description, Toaster, any links or anything, let me know, okay?
Gotcha.
But until next time, everybody, whenever that next time is, just kidding. Be Friday watching Bigfoot. I'll talk to you guys then, all right? All right, Toaster, thanks for being on. Everybody, peace.